Today we're going to jump through the elemental estimate. This is our 1.0 version, and we have more versions going to be released very soon. But this estimation is going to produce a bill of quantities, and I'm going to show you some of the functionality. When you first receive an estimation, you click Edit to action the estimation. This is the screen you get to. You will see who's estimated the project. Build details is going to basically set up the system to know where the construction rates come from. When you choose the type of builder, that's going to determine the level of construction rates. But what we've done in our system, we've got a black triangle. When you click the black triangle, it's going to pop up with an extended description of what each part of the estimation means. So you're going to be able to make decisions. When you click on different types of specifications, it's going to provide different levels of pricing. So when you purchase an estimate from us, you will get this estimation back completed. Now, if you're a member with Estimating Online, you have access to the price library. If you are doing a single purchase estimation through our free account, you will not have access to the price library. What the price library is all our construction recipes put together to be able to achieve the construction cost. It's our responsibility to go into every element of the build and populate what is required for the job. Currently, we don't have an on-screen takeoff to be able to link the on-screen takeoff and the price library together to be able to produce the BOQ. We have found some functionality to make this system happen, but it's work in progress. Our responsibility is to go down into every single element to making sure that we've captured every single cost. For this particular project that I'm showing you as an example, this is the full demolition, and we've made our own assumptions to be able to build out the costing. When we go into the building element, we've got different types of walls you can select. We've got different types of claddings you can choose from, different types of wall finishes. You might have an internal stud frame wall with insulation, without insulation, a brick wall, block, freeze wall. All these different functions are inside of Estimating Online. Our responsibility at Estimating Online is to make sure that when you click these buttons, it adds everything into the BOQ. For example, I'm going to skip down and go to the fit out. We're going to go to the kitchen. We're going to manually control the construction pricing and the construction quantities that go into the kitchen. We've tried to take this step a little bit further, and we can give you many options. You don't have to choose all the options, but these options are built into the system to be able to help you understand what's inside the estimation. Just to repeat again, the price library is available for active members. If you are on our free account and you purchase an estimation, this option is not available. One of the reasons why this is a benefit is if the client changes their mind, you will go inside the system and then reduce the quantities. If you have a free account, you will have to export the BOQ and manually change some of the processes with quantities. Once you get to our bill of quantities screen, this is where the technical aspect of construction comes into place. Click out on the concrete, it's going to show you a breakdown of the cubic meters of the project. Click out on the stormwater, it's going to give you the total linear meters of pipe work, how many pits, how many lids, the full process. Earthworks, carpentry breakdown, plumbing breakdown, cabinets breakdown room by room because we've entered the data in room by room. Air conditioning, supervision. As we see when we go down to the bottom of the estimation, we see the builder's final cost. We're always adding an estimating contingency, which is going to allow for potential mistakes, price increases, or for some potential unforeseen works. That gives us a final construction price. We add builder's margin, builder's profit. Everyone has their own name for it. And then from there, we're going to achieve a client construction price, including GST. So let's dive into some of the functionalities of the system, what makes estimating online far more superior than a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. Step number one is we're going to go into the concrete. This has a total budget of $150,000 and an allowance of 33 days to complete the work. How did we get to that construction price? I'm going to show you. The quantities multiplied by the rate equals a construction price. Then what needs to happen is we need to identify the level of risk. Is it low risk, high risk, medium risk, ultra, custom? You make a decision. If the risk is low, my budget is going to change. So I've gone from $111,000 up to $134,000, $150,000 based on the level of complexity of the job. This is really important for the builder to understand and have this control, because as an estimator, I've seen it many times through my career. Estimators' decisions versus builders' decisions, they're completely different. This allows you to have the control. Now let's talk about the labor days. We've got a labor day duration settings. We are saying that we have 4 men who operate at $85 an hour, 8 hours a day. When you calculate the total cost against that calculation, we get 3.2 days. I'm going to show you a settings that's going to change the way you think about costings. This is available for all accounts. When you go into the labor settings, and I employ my concreters, my rate is going to be $45 an hour. So that 33 days that I have inside my system is going to change. It's now gone to 62 days. Why did it go to 62 days? Because the cost that I'm paying as a builder, because I own the concrete company, has just come down. So now I can go and reduce my price until I get to 30 days again. We have seen some members, and from time to time we do this as well. We export the BOQ and we ask AI to be able to say, please advise the duration to do this scope of works of bill of quantities. If the report comes back that we need 40 days, we click on the plus sign and we change it to 40 days. Let's go into a little bit more functionality. If we feel like the concreting company is going to want to add some more money to their quote because of extra complexities and some unforeseen problems, we have a money bag which adds 20%. When you click on the money bag, it's going to take away that project contingency. So what I want you to do is have a look at this line here. I'm going to add the money bag. It's going to add an item. It's going to add an item below it called project cost contingency. We've added 20%. We need to start to think about how trades and suppliers are quoting. But it also works in the reverse as well. So if you've got a concrete quote and it's $430,000 and you've changed all your settings to custom, you've changed all your durations, you're happy with the answers, you've even spoken to the concrete company and is happy with 70 days to do the job, but the quote is $450,000. This is how we catch them out. We click on the money bag and we've just realized they've added an extra 20% across their quote that doesn't need to be there. Does this leave the door open to go get another quote? Maybe it does. Same process applies with the carpentry. Now, the reason why we've put the labor day duration in place is because we know that some builders estimate to cost or they estimate to days. Most builders can look at a project and say, yes, that's 15 days, 10 days, 3 days. Now you have that control inside of estimating online. Same process applies. Go to my labor duration settings. I have 2 men at $90 an hour. If you operate on a different space, change the hourly rate and your total duration of days will change. You can manually change the price and gives you far more control and functionality. Let's go and talk about a couple more things inside of our system that is a far more superior level of control. Most projects are over the client's budget. Now, let's hypothetically say this client wants this project for $2 million. We don't believe the builder should go back and sharpen their pencil. It's an old strategy, and we want to highlight to the client that we have a specification that we need to control first before we start sharpening the pencil. If I go down to my cabinets, we have $129,000 allowance. Everything is set to mid. If I change my whole specification to low, we've just taken away $30,000. That's step number one. Let's take this a little bit further. Let's do the same process with the tiling. Now, we've got to be very careful with the tiling. We can't do a master overall change because we don't want to change our labor. Let's change to low, but let's leave our labor there. Low, 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 low. Now our price is starting to come down. We feel sometimes the common mistake that happens inside projects is we design first, we do our selections first, but we forget about costings. This is why we're really passionate about getting the builder involved in early stages so we can control these budgets, so we can control everything to be able to say, hey, your prime cost allowance for these fixtures and fittings is not going to be $40,000. It's $27,000 if you want to achieve a number closer to $2 million. We'll go down to the windows. You might import your window material. So if I change the supply to low, my price is going to change, but I leave my labor at 14 days, $20,000. This is the process. We could go one step further with functionality and why we're giving the builders more control. The amount of times that the homeowner wants to supply the appliances, all the fixtures, all the finishes. We got a little man button. We press the little man button. But what we don't want to do is we want to protect our margin, but we just want to credit back the $27,000. Keep an eye on this margin, $252,000. I'm going to click owner supplied. My construction price as we go is reducing because the cost is going away. But what's happened now is my margin hasn't changed. Sorry, $3. We're calculating the money lost and we're putting it back into our builder's fees. Putting it back into the contract, same process applies. You'll notice that little man's turned blue. Change that little man back to gray and money goes back into the contract. Very great option for light fittings, for air conditioning, because we know as a builder, you're still going to be on site managing some of these tasks. So you should be paid for that and you're paid through the builder's fees. If you have a quotation for, let's say, electrical, there is a simple process. You click the 0 button, reset to 0, price goes back to 0, add an item, quotation, $45,000, save. We've just added $45,000 into the estimate. We have a legends table that's going to be able to tell you what the buttons mean. You're going to be able to have the option to export to your favorite software. And you can also export to Microsoft Excel. This function is across all accounts. We can go into another layer of reporting and understanding the costings. When I go to print, we're going to be able to go and see the final construction price. We're going to be able to finalize our budgets. we're going to be able to see the items that have been added to build the BOQ. So you can have a better understanding of the construction cost. One item that I have missed showing you, and I'm just going to revert back and show you because it's really important. Markup and contingency, the way it's managed inside of Estimating Online is a little bit different to others. Most estimators or most builders will work out the construction cost and then they will apply 6%, 8%, 12% to their overall construction price. We are taking a different approach at Estimating Online. We want you to think about the complexities for each trade and each supplier, and then make a group decision on the final outcome. So when I go to my markup and contingency and I explode that button, you will see that I've got maximum markup to concrete and I've got no extra markup on any other trade. That's because in our opinion, there should be no additional markup applied. However, if I feel the cabinet maker needs a little bit more money, I change my button situation. Now let's see this happen in real time. Let's go to the BOQ. My costing for the plumber is currently $28,000. I go back to my markup table. I have no extra markup, no extra contingency. I'm going to add this to a much higher level, and we're going to see that budget go from 28 to maybe 39. It hasn't changed. Did I use the right category? I put in plumbing fixtures. Silly me. Let's go back. Plumber, plumber. Show elements. And our plumber has gone to 36. When I go down to the bottom of my table, it's showing me how much extra markup contingency I've added to my estimate due to the complexities of the project. That's all I have for you today. That's a brief rundown of our Elementor estimate. If you'd like to know more, you can book a demo. I'm more than happy to show you the full process, and hopefully you will find this useful when you're doing an estimation.